now Midlands Today with Suzanne Virdee and Michael Collie.
4.8 on the Richter scale, the worst earthquake to hit the Midlands in a decade.
Bed shook, cupboard shook, it scared me to death.
The gas tower blown up yesterday. Could it have triggered today's earthquake?
Hello and welcome to a special programme on the night an earthquake shook the Midlands.
Also tonight, how do you know if your house has been damaged by the quake?
And early warning, did our pets know about the earthquake before we did? Hello, welcome to the start of the week with Midlands Today from the BBC. Some thought it was a terrorist attack. Some thought it was burglars. I thought my roof was falling in. It was, in fact, the biggest earthquake to hit Britain for 12 years.
Yes, and it happened here in the Midlands. Its tremors were felt across the entire region. The quake measured 4.8 on the Richter scale, equivalent to a small nuclear explosion. It lasted only around 20 seconds, but the tremors shook houses, shattered windows, cracked walls and knocked down chimneys. It also caused house and car alarms to go off and temporarily cut off electricity. Luckily, no one was seriously hurt, but thousands of terrified people jammed police lines in a frantic effort to find out just what was happening. Its epicentre was in Gornal Wood in Dudley, in Brickhill Lane, from where we can now cross live to our Black Country reporter, Catherine Mackey. Catherine, is there much damage where you are?
Well, Suzanne, it's remarkable to think that I'm standing at the epicentre of an earthquake. You might expect me to see me surrounded by piles of rubble, but I can tell you that everything is pretty normal here tonight, thankfully. Everyone, of course, though, is looking forward to a good night's sleep, considering they were so rudely awakened. 12:54 a.m. A closed-circuit television camera captures the moment the earthquake struck. Within minutes, the emergency services across the region were under siege from callers. 5,000 people jammed the lines to West Midlands Police alone in the first half hour. No reports, though, of serious injury, but some structural damage.
We were busy in the early portions of this morning responding to incidents across the West Midlands involving damage to chimney stacks specifically, to some outbuildings. We also had some damage to pipework and tanks in buildings, causing some floodings.
By daylight, the epicentre of the quake had been pinpointed, 9 kilometres below the surface of Brickhill Lane in Gornal Wood, Dudley. Everyone we spoke to in the area had a story to tell.
It actually vibrated on the dressing table. My bed rocked.
I was actually sitting on the floor, which really made it worse, and things off the telly just came flying at me, sort of thing.
I thought I was dreaming, actually, and just felt the house shake.
Broken glasses, cups, and it felt as though there was a plane landing on top of my roof.
For some, the cleaning up will take time. A church spire in Walsall fell victim, and cracks in walls are also being reported by homeowners.
Obviously, this fell out in the middle of the night when it happened, about 5 to 1 this morning, and all the cement fell out of the wall.
An engineer specialising in earthquake damage inspected the epicentre this afternoon.
It's strange that there's no evidence of any damage locally to the epicentre. Talked to local people, everyone felt it round here.
Considering this earthquake was felt as far away as mainland Europe, the people living at its epicentre are very much aware they've had a lucky escape.
Well, some amazing stories there. Kath, I imagine the structural engineers have been rather busy today.
Yes, they have been, Michael. This area has got a lot of old mine workings underneath the ground, and council engineers, I know in particular, they've been to some limestone caverns that were causing some concern, and they have been sealed off. Also, the other area of concern first thing this morning was the motorways. Engineers went out there about 1:30. They were checking the elevated positionings on the motorways. Also, the workings between junctions 5 and 7 on the M6. They were all checked for several hours this morning, and they were given the all clear at 10:30.
Has there in fact been much damage to buildings?
Well, we've seen some damage to church spires, to walls. I think over the next couple of days we may get some reports of more things, more householders coming forward. And of course the council engineers are going to be on call. The council has said they will be responding to any calls they get. So I think probably give it a couple of weeks and we may get a fairer assessment really of how much damage has been done.
And ironically, you've got the old Crooked House pub down the road, haven't you? But that was okay?
It was okay. It already looks as if it's been hit by a couple of earthquakes, but it's still standing just, I'm pleased to say.
Final thought, how do they actually know, the scientists know, that Brick Kiln Lane was in fact the epicentre?
Well, it's pretty remarkable, the science behind it. They do put equipment down old mine shafts, and that, used in conjunction with global positioning satellites, they get data from both of those things. They cross-reference the data, and today, as we know, they arrived at Brick Kiln Lane here in Gornal Wood.
Amazing stuff. Kath, thanks very much indeed.
And still to come in tonight's special edition of Midlands Today, advice on looking for damage to your home and what to do if you find it.
But first, let's ask the question, why did the earthquake happen? Now, the basic scientific reason is that there was a shift in giant plates that make up the surface of the Earth, causing the Earth literally to shake. Here's Mike Kilbane.
Well, if you want to know the hows and whys of earthquakes, you've come to the right place. This is the Applied Geophysics Laboratory at Keele University.